Best of r/confessions episode 3. Subscribe for Reddit videos daily. I secretly think my work friend is a bad mom who is addicted to having children because her entire personality has become being the happy mommy martyr, but I know it's fake. I have been wanting to get this off my chest for a long time. I don't know what kind of responses I'll get, but I have to confess. I have a friend at work who I actually can't stand. I'm very supportive. I donate to her causes when she asks. I try to give helpful feedback when she talks about how much of a challenge her one child is. This kid is a huge jerk and I love children, but OMG. I refer her for opportunities and talk about her like we're close friends to others. But the problem is that she's a terrible employee and a bad mom and no one will ever tell her. I know that she regularly works half days because she didn't sleep well the night before and can't focus or needs to run errands, so she leaves at lunch and never comes back. When we talk about our kids in front of other people or on social media, she paints a perfect picture. She's the kind of person who is all blessed. They have tons of professional photos smiling and laughing in their puffy vests. But the reality is that she admits to me that she doesn't like being with her children all day when her husband is gone. She says she doesn't like taking them anywhere because they're exhausting. She honestly told me one of her resolutions was to smile at her kids at least 3 times a day, and she was keeping track of it in a notebook BTW, because she realized one day that they stress her out so much that she doesn't have fun with them or enjoy being around them. Now, up until this point, you might just think she's a typical parent who had some kids and got overwhelmed and now she's in over her head for a while until they get a little older. I should be sympathetic, right? The problem is that she keeps having children. She's pregnant with number 4 right now, while already having 3 kids that are 4 and under. 2 of them have special needs, and honestly I am not qualified to diagnose her oldest, but he has a lot of issues that point to unaddressed autism. I try not to harbor bad feelings about the little turd because I don't think it's his fault, and they reward him in ways like giving him lots of attention and treats even when he's acting out. So yeah. But he can't be autistic because she's anti-vax. Do they even see a doctor? I'm not sure. She's admitted before that she avoids them at all costs, so I think well, child checkups aren't happening. But don't worry, they see a crunchy doctor who is actually a completely uncredentialed nutritionist with a website loaded with disclaimers about how she's not a doctor, but she'll take your $120/HR and tell you otherwise behind closed doors. Anyway. So this person I know has 1 baby and then had another who is born with a genetic condition. Finds out that she and her husband are both carriers for this particular genetic condition. Decides to have a 3rd baby anyway. Baby number 3 is born with the same condition, only way more complications, very long NICU stay, etc. She spends very little time with number 3 initially because she has to be at home taking care of number 1 and number 2 since she burns through babysitters who can't handle number 1. Mind you, she'll tell me how bad she feels that she hasn't seen her newborn baby in a week because she's been busy, but you better believe she takes tons of pics when she's in the hospital and posts them on Facebook saying how it's so hard to be a mom to kids with special needs but it's so worth it. Blessed. So lately I've been thinking that maybe she was finally going to throw in the towel at work and stay home with her kids because they are going broke paying others to do it and the kids need a lot of care. She said that it might just be easier not to work and whatever, and she was acting weird on our chats and group texts. But nope. Turns out she's pregnant again, and just took a new position at work because clearly she's such a great employee, even though I have heard from at least a dozen people. Can you send me X? I have emailed the person 3 times but never heard back. She even told me once that she gets so overwhelmed with emails and is so bad at managing them that sometimes she'll just delete her whole inbox. If it's important, they'll call me, and she laughed. We work in a corporate office and make good money. We're not saving lives here, but people depend on us to help them get their jobs done. Meanwhile she's burning down her 1,200 plus inbox because she only works a couple hours a day and still gets paid probably $80,000. But it's like I'm the only one who really sees this. Sometimes I think I must be crazy or something. Everyone else is all you got this mama. And talking about how she's so great and has such a great family. Someone at work called her brilliant once and I seriously struggled not to laugh. Like, is that a joke? Brilliant? She can't even handle her emails. How TF is she brilliant? So there you have it. I'm a bad person. I'm a fake friend. I act nice and say supportive things, but deep down I judge. And no one will ever know except you, Reddit. Thank you. Next. I lie about my height on dating apps, but not in the way you think. I immediately cringe and swipe left when I see a girl with absurd height requirements on dating apps because it is a pretty reliable indicator that they are shallow. At first, I thought swiping left was enough, but then I realized I was getting more matches from these shallow girls because they can see that I am 6'3" on my profile. Since then, I have set my height at 5'9" for online dating so I can find people who are not super shallow. Thank you. Next. My wife thinks I'm just being cute and romantic. I have always called my wife by terms of endearment rather than her name. Sweetheart, darling one, etc. After 23 years of marriage she is actually taken aback if I call her by name at this point, which almost never happens anyway. There's a reason, and it's not because it was an ex-girlfriend's name or anything like that. It's just, I hate it. I think it's an ugly name. It grates on me, rubs me entirely the wrong way, and I can't stand using it to identify someone I'm very much in love with. I won't say what it actually is because she might read this and I'd rather she didn't find out, so let's just say it's Gretchen, which is a name I hate in the same way. Not as juicy a confession as some on here, but that's mine. Thank you. Next. I'm sick of people calling me a racist. I feel like calling someone a racist is an easy way to win an argument by avoiding to address your opponent's arguments. It's sad and pathetic. Criticizing Islam doesn't make me a racist. Islam is not a race, it has never been. Criticizing Christianity isn't racist, so why is criticizing Muslims racist? Both Christianity and Islam are made for all races and advocate conversion of non-believers. Criticizing BLM doesn't make me a racist. BLM is a political movement, not a race, backed by many white people as well. BLM killed more unarmed black people in 14 weeks than the police did in the entire year of 2019. PM me for the source. If you think these things make me racist, you need to work on your fucking logic. Racism is the belief that certain races are inferior. I criticize toxic ideas, not races. I criticize ideas mostly prevalent among white people. Communism. I criticize ideas mostly prevalent among brown people. Islam. I criticize ideas mostly prevalent among black people. BLM. I couldn't care less about your fucking race. If all you see is races being criticized, then you're the fucking racist. Give me a break. I'm fucking tired of people accusing me of something I am not. I am not a racist. Calling me one won't change that. Thank you. Next. I am secretly super jealous of all the people get to receive unemployment and don't have to work. I have always prided myself on working a lot and working hard. I don't really have a choice. I need to work to have some sense of security. But then I see all these people around me, some of them my good friends, who sit around all day playing video games because they are on unemployment. It sucks to lose your job, but these people that I know only lost their jobs temporarily. Plus the jobs aren't that great anyway, like a store clerk and stuff, and now they're making more money than they ever have. Meanwhile, I work 7 days a week, in the sweltering heat, waking up early every day, getting dirty, just because I wasn't lucky enough to have my workplace shut down. I don't tell anyone this stuff because they'll just call me a sore, jealous, hater or a boomer or something. But it really bothers me that these people just get to skate through life for a few months while myself and many others are out here breaking our backs. Thank you. Next. I find it interesting and humorous how black people think they're the only ones who are victims of racism. People who are black, Asian, Hispanic, Asian, and all other different kinds of people are discriminated against as well. Black people aren't special. So when they say all lives matter isn't a good hashtag, they are being racist to others because they think they deserve more respect or recognition. Thank you. Next. I don't understand how trans people feel. Please help me. Hi everyone. This is coming from a genuine desire to learn about trans issues. I've been reluctant to share the fact I don't really understand because I'm afraid of being labeled a transphobe/TERF on Twitter. I would just like to be pointed to resources to learn and educate myself, and maybe hear from any trans folks about their experiences and how they would explain what it's like to be trans to someone who doesn't fully understand. I think I just got lost along the way and my understanding is now pretty confused. Do trans people identify as another gender, or is that terminology incorrect? How do you know you're transgender? Do you have to like certain things, or is it more of an instinct? The only analogy I can think of in terms of understanding how trans people feel is that recently I had long hair, but it was making me uncomfortable. It was heavy and didn't suit me. I cut my hair off short and now I feel so much happier and able to be more me. I know this is such a reductive and basic analogy, but it's currently the only way I can sort of understand. Thanks all. Red Heart.